Good morning, folks. Welcome to the Dumpster Fire 4.0, part of AIM Student Radio, the way radio should be. I am Josh, and due to an audio issue, I had to basically scrap that whole intro I just did, so here we go again. This is going to be an incredible semester. Welcome to the first week. It's going to be an absolute blast here for everybody. We will have a weather check coming up here for you soon. Also, we will have announcements further on in the show. It's going to be quite a ride, and in today's main segment, we will go ahead and be talking about a concert that was literally just announced about an hour ago, so there's still information coming out as it shows up, but I can't wait for this. I'm going to have to fight to try to get to this, because this is going to be an incredible show. Ms. Lauryn Hill and the Fugees have just announced the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill 25th anniversary tour. A full tour, and guess what? To make life even better, it's coming to Denver. November 2nd, 7:30 p.m. at the Ball Arena. Ms. Lauryn Hill and the Fugees. We had been hearing rumblings about the Fugees possibly doing a reunion for a while now. We know that there were brief reunion shows that have happened here and there over the last couple of years, but now we're talking a full-on tour. The Fugees and Lauryn Hill, iconic group, one of the most influential hip-hop groups of all time. The Score, that album, I played the snot out of it. I still do. Lauryn Hill, incredible, so ahead of her time. I gotta see this show, one way or another. It's gonna be incredible. And before we go into our next segment, we're gonna let some sweepers play in, and I will have some Fugees playing. Up next, after some sweepers, we got Ready or Not here on AIM Student Radio, the way radio should be. Good morning, and welcome back to the Dumpster Fire 4.0, part of AIM Student Radio, the way radio should be. Yes, this is the fourth incarnation of the Dumpster Fire. This will be an incredible event. This is the first episode, and we already got bombshell music news, and I'm so excited for this. If you just heard, I've just played back-to-back Fugees songs, and there's a reason for it, and let me go ahead and explain why. Ms. Lauryn Hill and the Fugees are back. I have here an article that I just pulled from Variety magazine, and I quote, "Five-time Grammy winner Lauryn Hill has announced a 25th anniversary tour for her iconic debut solo album, 1998's Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. Hill's former group, the Fugees, who abruptly canceled the planned 25th anniversary tour around their multi-platinum album, the Score album, last year. They said they were doing it because of the pandemic, but looks like the pandemic has certainly eased up quite a bit. Will open only the U.S. dates, presumably because of member Pras Michel's legal challenges stemming him from his recent conviction on international conspiracy charges. I don't know a thing about that, so let's just focus on the music. I'm not a criminal lawyer person thing. The 17-date tour will hit arenas around the world, including Brooklyn's Barclays Center, Chicago's United Center, Chicago represent, and the Kia Forum in Los Angeles, as well as in Australia, New Zealand, and more. Full dates are listed below on the article. The Fugees will reunite for their first tour in years to co-headline the tour on all U.S. and Canadian dates. The trio announced a world tour in 2021 and played a concert in New York that September, but all other dates were canceled as a result of the pandemic. With its pioneering fusion of R&B, hip-hop, and pop, Miseducation of Lauryn Hill was one of the most influential albums of the 1990s. Entered into the Library of Congress in 2015, it was the first hip-hop album to receive an Album of the Year Grammy Award and made Hill the first woman to be nominated for 10 Grammy Awards in 1 year and the first woman to win 5 Grammys in one night. However, she has only released one album since then, an MTV Unplugged concert recorded in 2001, though she has toured frequently. Hill says, and I quote, "The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill was a love song to my parents, my family, my people, my musical let me start that over. My musical and cultural forebears, my teachers, my loves, my creator. I wrote love songs and protest songs, still love songs, about the subjects and interests that inspired and moved me. I was confident that what inspired me would resonate with an audience that had been led to believe that songs of that kind would only live in the past. She goes on further to say, I loved music. I love people. I truly felt grateful to God for my life and genuinely blessed to have a platform where I could share wisdom and perspective through music, she continues. I felt a charge to challenge the idea that certain kinds of expression and or certain kinds of people don't belong in certain places. I loved showing what could work or happen provided there was imagination, creativity, and love leading the way. This is going to be an incredible show. It is coming to Denver, November 2nd at the Ball Arena. I gotta find a way to go to the show. It's going to be incredible. The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, just such an iconic album. The Fugees are just such an iconic group. So much of even like today's hip-hop, you can directly correlate that back to the Fugees. They were innovators. They were pioneers. The Score, still just one of the most influential albums just ever made. I can't wait for this. It's going to be absolutely incredible and quite an awesome way to start off the Dumpster Fire 4.0 with just some incredible music news. I am smiling ear to ear right now, and while I go ahead and revel in this moment, I will go ahead and let it get back to the music here on AIM Student Radio, the way radio should be. And welcome back to the Dumpster Fire 4.0, part of AIM Student Radio, the way radio should be. I'm Josh. Let's go ahead and get a quick check here of your weather here on this 11 o'clock hour. Well, almost 11:30, but hey, who's counting? Currently in Windsor, we are looking at 86 degrees, a high of 96, a low of 60, sunny skies, wind gusts of up to 1 mile per hour. In Loveland, we are currently looking at 81 degrees with a high of 96, a low of 61, sunny skies, and no wind. Currently in Fort Lupton, we're looking at 92 degrees, a high of 96, a low of 62, fair skies, and wind gusts of up to 2 miles per hour. And currently on the home campus of Greeley, we are looking at 91 degrees, a high of 97. Woo, 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 it's gotta be toasty. A low of 61, sunny skies, and wind gusts of up to 5 miles per hour. On our previous segment, I had mentioned Ms. Lauryn Hill and the Fugees announcing a tour in celebration of the 25th anniversary of the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill album. It will be making a Denver stop November 2nd at the Ball Arena. Got to find somewhere or another to go to that show. But since we are talking bombastic news, here we go with another bombastic announcement. This happened a few days ago on August 18th, The Weeknd. Quite a frequent subject of our show. It is no secret that I am a huge, huge fan of The Weeknd. The man, the myth, the legend. So much so, I even watched all 5 episodes of The Idol. Yeah, I did that. Needless to say, it's a show with some very impressive cinematography. As for the rest of it, there is a story there, but I'm just hoping with time, maybe there'll be like a critical reevaluation of it. I may have to rewatch it again just to see if I get a different perspective on it as to when it originally aired, but I digress. The Weeknd hosted a concert on I apologize, I can't talk today. On August 18th, the final leg of looks like the European leg of the After Hours Till Dawn Stadium Tour. And not only was it an incredible show, he set a record at Wembley Stadium, everybody. So, here we go. 87,000 tickets sold. Here is the announcement from Live Nation UK. After smashing attendance records at London Stadium in July, The Weeknd has made history again on the final date of the After Hours Till Dawn European Tour tonight at London's Wembley Stadium. This was back on the 18th. The Weeknd broke Wembley Stadium's record for sales with their traditional concert setup with the stage at one end of the stadium with 87,000 tickets sold. Wembley Stadium is a giant stadium. It's significantly bigger than Empower Field at Mile High, and that's a gigantic stadium too. Speaking of which, Ed Sheeran was in town. He set the Empower Field at Mile High attendance record for one night. 85,000 tickets sold. through rain, through lightning delays. He played the whole show. 85,000 people. That's almost the population of Greeley. That's about 3/4 of the population of Greeley. Greeley's sitting at about 105,000 right now. So you could fit about 3/4 of that inside a Mile High for an Ed Sheeran show. That is a staggering amount of people. Obviously, Taylor Swift broke the record there, but she did 2 nights. That was over 100 some odd thousand tickets. Right now, it's just these stadium shows are just getting crazier and crazier. A lot of them before, how do I say this? We had seen an uptick of stadium shows before the pandemic, but now post-pandemic, we're just getting more of them. The After Hours Till Dawn Stadium Tour didn't even start originally as a stadium tour. This was back in 2020. Originally, he had announced the After Hours tour at the time that was just the After Hours album. Originally, this was going to be an arena tour, and I had tickets to it. We were going to go see it at Ball Arena. Back then, it was still called the Pepsi Center. But then with the pandemic and the tour getting rescheduled multiple times, and also him releasing the Dawn FM album shortly afterwards, the whole thing changed from an arena tour to all stadiums. So instead, he did the show at Empower Field at Mile High. Your boy was there, spent more money than I'm willing to admit I spent on air to get a ticket there. I had the tickets, I had the merch. Me and my buddy, and another one of my friends, we were in the club level of Mile High for this show. That is probably the only time, unless something crazy happens financially, that I'll ever be able to actually be in the club level for anything at Mile High, because Lord knows I can't afford it for a Broncos game. But I'm just happy to see these artists, Lauryn Hill coming back, the Fugees coming back, The Weeknd smashing records. This is what I'm all about. It's positive, upbeat excitement here. I can't wait to see what's going to happen with the next leg of Abel's tour. Whether he does another U.S. leg, that remains to be seen. We're just smashing records all around. We got, obviously, Lauryn Hill and the Fugees coming back after so many years. That's going to be an incredible tour. Obviously, we have our girl Taylor Swift just demolishing every record that's in front of her right now, making so much money off that tour. Obviously, I was not able to afford a ticket to the Eras tour. I don't have that kind of money, but I did buy a shirt. You could just buy them online, and it's actually should be arriving to my house here in the next couple of days. So yeah, even I threw money at that tour. We have also the Taylor's version of 1989 coming out here soon. That should be actually pretty impressive. I myself, I do have a few hits off of 1989 that I do like. It's not my favorite Taylor album, though. That honor goes to Reputation. So we'll see when we get the Taylor's version of that. There's only 2 albums left after this, and that's the debut album and Reputation. A lot of people think the big theory now is that we're going to get Reputation first and then the debut for last for the Taylor's versions, and then she owns all of her music again. But we'll see where it goes. But I'm just saying, it's a record-breaking time right now in the music industry. Right now, sadly, streaming just doesn't bring in a whole lot of money for these artists, so they have to go on these huge tours. But I'm happy that audiences are responding. They're paying money. They're going to see these shows. It's all around. I'm part of the music industry as well, not just doing the DJ here, but with also the music that I put out. So, anytime I see the industry doing good, it's good for me. It's good to see. It's good to see people successful. That's it. Like I said, this show is going to be upbeat. It's going to be entertaining. It's going to be off the walls. And that is going to continue with our next episode coming up next week. We are still working on the format, but I do thank you all for hanging in there during this roller coaster of a first episode. We obviously had some bombshell announcements. Here's to more to come. More laughs, more dumpster fire, more chaos. And I thank you all so much for listening. Now I got to go finish off with the rest of the stuff of my day. But before I do that, up next, we got just music from some of the subjects we talked about here on the show. I got some Weeknd coming up. I got a double dose of the Fugees coming up here for you folks. Enjoy the rest of your day. Stay cool out there. If you are walking around, stay hydrated. Sunscreen will be your best friend. And I'm saying that as a fellow Chrome Dome. This was the Dumpster Fire 4.0. And you were all warned.